and you're not. So, oh, well, also, the fact that you are supported by both vets that focus on the troops and their families is also obviously speaking in your favor.
Yeah, to your point is, I think that we've lost the eye and ball from the government side, and we let, it's sort of like, I'll get to the Affordable Care Act in a minute, but it's we're letting the contractors run our contracts when we should have the old acquisition corps guys like I used to be managing contracts. And they have a contract, when you're in the build phase, it's cost plus incentive. So in other words, whatever the costs are, the government's beholden to pay that, and then you get incentive and you deliver on time and budget. For some reason, I have no idea how they keep letting the cost and the scope creep continue, which is ridiculous. And that's something that I've got to dig in to figure out what happened. Yeah, well, I agree. So that's why you'll have me when someone comes with experience. Much like someone being a gun owner is going to fight for responsible gun ownership. That kind of makes certain people's heads explode if they can't compute. But I'm coming as an acquisition corps officer, so I understand the DoD budget, and I know the FAR regulations, and I know the import-export laws, both from my private time and also as an officer in the acquisition corps. Your comment about the Affordable Care Act, and I agree. So I'll be the one Democrat that will be fighting for all of us, not just Democrats, but Republicans and Independents and otherwise, because we're all equal. As I say, I grew up under single payer. I grew up as an Army guy, and it worked just fine for me. And as a corollary to that, I'm a service-disabled veteran, and I use the VA system. And you hear horror stories about people waiting thousands of days to get their benefits. And quite frankly, that's typical political speak. It's partially right, but it's true wrong. The benefits of the VA system, privatization isn't the answer. The VA system does a great job for veterans that use it. The challenge is, the part that they are worried about is it does take 1,000 days to get approved for the benefits. But once you're in the system, it looks great. Case in point, I go to Coastal, it's a fully automated system. I swipe a card, I get it, and the doctors are waiting on me. It's more efficient than my civilian doctor, where I go in with 45 minutes. It's ridiculous. So I think by and large, any veteran, I can't say every veteran, but most veterans who use the veteran PPA system will resoundingly say it's a great system, great process. It does not need to be privatized. Ryan is on the Veterans Affairs Committee. He's doing things trying to fix the VA, and that's not the answer. The answer is fixing the benefit process, because that's not just in the VA. This seems to be a systemic process or problem across government. Social Security disability benefits, Medicare disability benefits, also the VA disability, and that needs to be fixed. That part indeed absolutely needs to be fixed. Regarding the Affordable Care Act, after that point, I think it was a great start. Clearly didn't go far enough. Clearly wasn't a full panacea, 100% solution. But as I say, instead of voting it down, however many times we did, why not bring a solution? Bring an alternative. They always keep talking about it, but I've never seen one yet. So I think that the public option ought to be a great option. However, we never. People tell me that it's going to be cost prohibitive, or you hear that people say it's cost prohibitive. I've yet to see that. Somebody can show it to me because I'm a tangible, show me person to prove that that's true, and I'll consider it. And I'm not stating my ways, but I just know from personal experience, having Medicare, or not personally, but having a single payer, it works just fine for me. Another sidebar to that issue is like, as I would say, like corporations are kind of running the contracts. It seems like insurance companies are running Affordable Care. Right. Another experience that I had.
Why we don't have single payer?
Exactly. Another experience I had as a small business owner. I went a couple of years, when I started, I had an naive belief that I would be able to get 100% healthcare coverage for all my employees and all their families. And every year, my healthcare insurance went up 30%, and it frustrated me to no end. And we had young, strapping guys. They were much turning stuff as we built these projects around the country. But I unofficially know that we only had one medical case that guy had a knee or a shoulder replacement or surgery or something. And had 2 babies under my time, and that was it. But we were paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for insurance, and I can never afford it. And I was so frustrated. And it's the frustration around the Affordable Care Act. There's horror stories. I've got a fellow West Pointer who, a 55-year-old, business owner, and unfortunately his costs have gone up exorbitantly because he's having to pay for unneeded services like well-being care and things like that. And he's not, he said exactly what he does. So, there's things that can be cleaned up, but I think the answer is trying to fix it. Another set of opportunities in the VA system, we get discounts for pharmaceuticals because we're doing mass buys. You know, for whatever reason, Congress has prohibited Medicare from being able to do this things.
For whatever reason?
Well, it's their personal. In other words, Medicare can't go past five of the pharmaceutical companies, and Ryan's gotten a $250,000 from healthcare pharma people. So, you know, these are the kind of things that I'm not beholden to. You know, it's the harder right thing to use wrong. And, you know, that tends to say the half truth as opposed to the full word of trying to spin about things. So my answer is a good start, but we got a long way to go.
Right.
All right. Yes, sir.
I think let's make America great again. Let's move on. Okay, let me tell you why. Okay, when the bottom trough happened, I had a graph and it showed the unemployment, showed a lot of statistics. It's been going up ever since. And we're having a great economy. I have good business and we are doing great.
Absolutely.
In spite of the Republicans trying to ditch everything.
Yeah.
It's a fact. You know, by keeping interest rates low in some respects, it's extended the expansion, so it's good. But you know, it's not fair not to spend the money on infrastructure, on the things that people need, and getting more people to work. That would do it. So,
Yeah.
plus, I have a lot of friends who are Republicans. I have a lot of friends who are government workers, and they're Republicans at Washington, okay? And they are just bad-mouth the Democrats all the time. They're freaking hypocrites, I was something. That's enough.
No, and I agree. I think that for those of us, I guess we're not too many, for the youngsters, is, you know, I tell the story that, you know, I came out of high school in 1981 when it was, you know, with 18% interest rates. I had no idea. I was scared to death about trying to get a real job. Unfortunately, I was lucky to go to West Point and, you know, serve the military to get a start. But, you know, we've come an extremely long way in our economy from where we were. You know, we've come from, you know, as I say, from civil rights and race relations, as they tell the story, that, you know, I was a young 8-year-old. And my first gunshots I heard was when I was 8 years old in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You remember 1971? For those of us that remember, those were the height of the Vietnam War protests. My dad happened to be an ROTC instructor at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. That's why we lived in Chattanooga at the time. And my school was an integrated school. And, you know, we had, you know, African Americans and you know, all kinds of different products at the time. And our school burned because of the race riots. And it was nice thing, like 8 years old, because Chattanooga was under curfew, martial law, whatever it was called. You know, we heard gunshots in the distance. And that stays with me. It stayed with me. It scared me to death. So I had no idea what that stuff was. And my dad went off to Vietnam and everything else. But I just can't imagine, you know, how bad, you know, race relations were back in the 60s and 70s to today. And I just see an ugly path of us going back to that. But the youngsters don't remember how bad it was. You know? And as I say to some of our people of color communities, like the Muslims and the Hindus and the African Americans around our area, they are scared to death about this election. And I tell them I'll be the one champion for them because I grew up that way and I understand their issue. I can't imagine being a young man of color in like Center City somewhere today. You know, some of the things you see on social media. But I do know that it's not America and it's not us. And you know, I for one will not let us go back because we can't go back to how it was back then. It's horrendous. So the idea about making America great from that standpoint is, you know, we're the greatest nation on earth. You know, sidebar to that is, I tell the story, when we were at the end of Desert Storm, I was doing the Kurdish refugee mission. You know, if you remember the Kurds who were up there in the war in Iraq, we did what's called the MedCat mission. It's a medical capabilities mission where American doctors would fly in and would give medical support to the local populace. And this one dad brings in his 8 or 9-year-old daughter, you know, that was like 26, 27 years old, and I wasn't paying attention. But the dad, you know, his daughter had a limp arm up in the middle. It was kind of severed somewhere. And you know, he kept pushing the American doctors, okay, you know, can you help my daughter, fix her arm? And the doctor, typical, no doctor here, from the bedside, no, you know, that kind of stuff. And the dad kept pushing him. And, you know, it touched my heart, it touched my soul when the dad goes, but you're an American doctor, you can do anything. And that's the belief of America. People in this world, the rest of this world, think that, you know, they still believe in America. And I think, unfortunately, with this, you know, this pay-per-view reality show that we got of an election, I think it will become an embarrassment. And I just, you know, I don't allow it. It's just, you can't stand it.
I just came back from Europe and the unbelief that they have.
Yeah.
What's going on here? The Trump campaign.
Yeah.
They cannot fathom how so many Americans can think
economic standpoint, we all as entrepreneurs and small business owners, this is the land of freedom and break. Everybody has an opportunity to make money. This whole idea about, criminals coming overseas, or we're shipping jobs overseas and criminals coming here. I mean, there's obviously one or two kind of situations like that, but by and large, there's more jobs than there are people looking for jobs in America. There's more skilled jobs. And, obviously, the next question might be, what's my position on TPP? My view is no skilled jobs need to stay in America, and maybe do American jobs. But I also know that there's lots of opportunity here. And I think that education is a key point to innovation, to kind of getting us creating new jobs. As I say, the will of America, you remember we went to the moon on a 32 megabyte hard drive. Our folks did. Look it up. The computer was the size of this room and stuff. I mean, I was a little coder back when I was 10 years old.
And it didn't have the power.
Yeah, and these things have
didn't have the power of code.
Right. But it was the will of the American people to get there. And I think the will of Americans, hopefully will come out in droves for an election. And then get some more rational thought, not only into the presidency, but also into Congress. Because we got to get rid of this, saying business as usual, pat yourself on the back for, doing the name the haves versus the have-nots. So, but I'm with.
I often wondered when they got rid of the fork, if that made people not try to go across the aisle to get their vote.
Yeah, I think it started with the whole Citizens United thing, and I think it's got.
I know it was before that.
Well, it might have been, but I just think that there's way too much beholdenness to the establishment, and I don't agree with Donald Trump on hardly anything. He gave a speech there talking about the establishment, and that's something that seemed intriguing. So, but I mean, you can see how people treated candidates going through this race. I get the same way because we're not raising enough money and stuff like that. But we're still in this to win. We're going to win with us because, as I say, we're the ones who elect ourselves. Washington doesn't elect us. Money doesn't buy elections, but obviously it takes money to win elections.
So how much support are you getting from the National Democratic?
Well, we have a few renegades that are supporting us, State Board and others. So I think the national team is supporting us, and they're kind of observing us, and they're kind of helping us out. We have a lot of organizations that are giving us some manpower, things like that. But most money obviously is coming from us here locally. And as I say, it's other races. You hear horror stories about how people depend upon Washington. As I say, I believe in us being the ones that win the election. So it's good to have extra help, but you can't be dependent. It's sort of like being married. You can depend on your partner, but you can't be dependent on your partner. So I'm not going to talk about that. Yes, sir.
You said you donated to political donations to other candidates. Could you talk about that, including money that you gave to Tom Corbett?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Tell me, what made you think about giving to other candidates?
Well, at the time, I also gave Mitt Romney, and most times I didn't think about it because my friends asked me. The Corbett specific story is, I had a friend that they're donors to me now. I've talked about that same thing, but they asked me to come to an event for a potential governor candidate, and I had no idea who the guy was. Didn't think about it, but my friend asked me to write a check, and I did it because he asked me. Didn't think about it. Probably the stupidest thing I did.
So you do what your friends tell you to do.
No, I do what I help my friends because I'm loyal to my friends. Yes, exactly.
So
Regardless of party affiliation.
So you can admit that you were.
That was
It's okay. We love you coming over.
I'm a loud and proud Democrat.
I grew up in New England. My family were Rockefeller Republic. That party doesn't exist anymore.
I agree.
I was a Republican Party definitely.
Most of us. I like to think that I was visionary. I changed 3 years ago. It's like it's gotten even worse. And as my brother Rick said, I didn't even party left me. And I think that most of us, by and large, agree with that. And it's disappointing to see the hijacking of the party. I think the two-party system itself is just kind of becoming a dinosaur.
Did you say Ronald Reagan said that?
That's right.
I think it was Arnold Specter that said that.
I think Reagan might have said that.
He was referring to the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
When he switched from Democrat to Republican.
He was an FDR Democrat.
Yeah. I didn't want to say Arnold might have said the same thing, but I know from
Arlen finally did say that when he switched.
I think we all can say that at some point in our lives. So yeah. I was an independent when I first started, and then I registered Republican for John McCain because he's a fellow veteran, and I supported John McCain at the fellow United Sarah Palin right there. So again, not caring, not caring about it. I didn't really pay attention to changing party affiliation. So that was what I doing. gotten much more involved in the political process, and I'm not Democrat, about that. Yes, ma'am.
So you brought up the fact that independents can't vote in the primaries.
Yes. Right.
I am a registered independent. I've also voted Republican and I've voted Democrat. Would you do anything to try to, what are your feelings on that law?
Well, that's what we were talking about. I don't know enough about it, but I think that everybody should have a chance to vote. I mean, on the surface, it seems like for me, it would be something that's doable. That's what we're talking. California does that.
Right.
And then I'll leave to my experts to figure out. I think the jury's still out on the official, the right way to go. So, but if I was at the state level, I would probably should at least entertain that. So,
Yeah, that's a question at the state level, but I can share. I lived in Massachusetts for about 8 years, and they have a primary. So you can walk up and say, I want to vote the Democratic primary, I want to vote the Republican primary. So one of the times when I was up there, we had Bill Weld as a Republican, John Silver as a Democrat, who was substantially more conservative than Bill Weld, who's now the Libertarian VP candidate.
oh, that's interesting. So you're saying they still had the two-party system, but independents were allowed to pick where they wanted to vote.
You can go and you can register, you can vote in a primary. You go, you say, I'd like to register as a Democrat today, and on your way out, you can re-identify your affiliation as Democrat, Republican, non-affiliated.
Some states have same-day registration like that.
In Michigan, you don't have to register. You walk in a polling location and say, I want a Democrat ballot. In fact, my mom was a registered Republican who's a Trump supporter who I got to vote in the Democratic primary instead. I'm sneaky like that.
But in some manner, you have to be registered.
No, you don't.
In some states,
But no, some
You
are-
don't have to register to vote.
Oh, you
You
have
don't
to
have to be affiliated with the party.
Yeah. You're
Right,
right.
and that's in Massachusetts.
That's an interesting
That's
twist.
when you walk up, you basically register, I'm a Democrat for a day or a Republican for a day, and you get better candidates because you weed out the outliers on both sides.
Let me add that Joe Cerisi is the state rep candidate here. So, he's based on. I did one alibi background infrastructure for you to ask about that, and then I'll get to you in a second. Is Joe and I have been talking about it. He's had some op-eds out, and I've had op-eds out about the idea of kind of reinvigorating mass transit here in the 422 corridor in Philadelphia. And one of the key pieces I'm pushing hard is Reading Road, not just because I love Monopoly, but it's because if you see the city of Reading. Stop. So the city of Reading has, when they stopped the rail down to Philadelphia, it's become one of the most depressed cities in the nation. Because it's kind of like the Route 66 that we had at the time. Behind it, unfortunately. And I've talked to a lot of constituents out there. They used to love coming out to baseball games and working and things. And I think this is, since Philadelphia is our beloved city, all the way out to Berks is, I consider that Colorado County, which within an hour or so, we should be able to have some sort of a train service or mass transit service, high-speed rail or whatever. So Joe is a proponent of that here on the 422 corridor, and I said extend it through Pottstown all the way over to Reading and keep it going that way. It's an option. So, state level pictures of crime. Yes, sir.